When we study the past, we usually look for parchment and pottery, but today we are auditing Earth's history as a compiled digital dataset. Let's initiate a scan of the deep past, specifically the directory for 9600 BC. In this era, the system parameters are restricted to primitive hunter-gatherers using basic stone tools. But the scan reveals a massive anomaly at Göbekli Tepe. We see a stark juxtaposition between the expected primitive humans and a blue-tinted blueprint for an advanced architectural asset that has spawned in a biome without any of the necessary tech tree requirements. This site contains technical engineering signatures that contradict the timestamp. These massive stone pillars require complex model parameters, advanced logistics, and agriculture that the hunter-gatherer directory simply does not support. The physical evidence is undeniable. These are multi-ton blocks featuring sophisticated, raised animal relief carvings that require a level of craftsmanship and organization the system says shouldn't exist for another several thousand years. This suggests Göbekli Tepe represents a breakdown in the timeline's fundamental code, a logic failure that the historical narrative cannot account for. This is a classic procedural generation failure. The world-building algorithm mistakenly fetched an architectural model intended for a later Neolithic society and dropped it into the 9600 BC hunter-gatherer folder. This spawning error created an immediate problem for the simulation's continuity. Archaeological records show the site was intentionally and systematically buried under thousands of tons of rubble at the peak of its use. The simulation's automated debugging routine flagged this anachronism. According to its cost analysis, recalculating the global causality chain was deemed too resource-intensive. Rather than rebooting the timeline, the engine executed an automated hide command, removing the asset from active render distance. The engine procedurally generated a shell of dirt and stone over the pillars, effectively encasing the glitched models to keep the timeline's errors out of active view. These site burials aren't evidence of human ritual. They're the physical manifestations of an engine trying to hide its own spawning errors. If we move the diagnostic forward to the 3100 BC directory, we find the same pattern of errors repeating in southern England at Stonehenge. While the outer stones are local, the inner bluestones arrived from 200 kilometers away. Transporting these across land and water using prehistoric methods is a logistical impossibility for the Neolithic tech tree. The error log identifies this as a Biome Texture Misallocation. The procedural generation failed to load local materials and instead fetched geological assets from the Wales database for an English map directory. To maintain the illusion of a live simulation, the operating system generated implicit narratives after the world launched. It planted myths of intertribal stone transport to give users a believable rationalization for these out-of-place assets. Standard archaeology relies on theories like ritual decommissioning or intertribal cooperation to fill these gaps, though the system diagnostics point toward a reality of spawning and texture failures. The ingenuity we attribute to our ancestors is often just a cover story the system generates to patch over poor geographical asset management. When we see these desperate patches occurring across thousands of years of recorded time, it suggests that the historical record is not a live recording, but a corrupted one. The pattern of errors indicates a system that reached stability only recently. The data suggests the simulation actually booted into a live state during the Renaissance, with everything prior serving as background data. All of ancient history, the empires, the pharaohs, the massive monuments, exists as a lore file. These structures, like the pyramids of Giza, represent the static, pre-rendered backstory downloaded to give our current playthrough a sense of depth. Even the Middle Ages appear to be the final beta test assets left in the directory right before version 1.0 went live. We are navigating a constructed environment, and the evidence of our failing codebase is still visible if we know where to look. History functions as a compiled file, and we have finally located the bugs in the code.